What's going on, people? UFC 303 this weekend, and this video is our official predictions. So we are going to start from the bottom of the card and work our way up to the main event and give all our predictions of the fight. And in this video, I'm going to try and give as specific predictions as possible. I try not to just say, I think this fight is going to win, I think that fight is going to win, unless I don't know the fighters and I can't be bothered doing research. I'm real, guys. I'm not pretending to be some sort of MMA expert. Make sure as well, tune in this Saturday because I'm going to be doing a fight companion live on this channel. So if you'd rather listen to me commentate and have a little bit of a laugh together in the chat rather than listening to Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier with their biased opinions and one-sided fight commentary, then make sure you got your notifications turned on. Otherwise, you're not going to get notified when we actually go live. So I'm going to pull up the fight cards right here. We've got a bunch of fights in the description, and in the pinned comment, I'll leave timestamps so you can jump about the video and you can just hear the predictions of the fighters who you want. Now, the last UFC card, out of 13 fights, I got 9 right. I'm doing pretty good recently with the predictions. However, some of these fights I actually don't feel comfortable giving predictions for because I don't really know them. So what we're going to do, similar to the last UFC predictions that we made, is we're going to go through their stats and determine who's got the highest probability of winning. Okay, so first off, the bottom of the card, we got Ricky Simón versus Vinicius Oliveira. Now, usually anyone with the second name Oliveira I would go with, but I'm actually familiar with Ricky Simón, and because I am familiar with him, I'm more inclined to choose him to win this fight. But let's take a little bit of a look. Ricky Simón, striking accuracy 44%, his takedown accuracy is 47%. We have Vinicius Oliveira, 47% and 50% on the striking and takedown accuracy. So they're pretty fairly matched. However, let's take a look at this. Ricky Simón has got 77% takedown defense. Vinicius Oliveira has only got 40% takedown defense. I know this doesn't really tell the full picture. And Ricky Simón has also got a 62% significant striking defense. So basically, overall, Ricky Simón is better defensively than Vinicius Oliveira is. Now, Vinicius Oliveira actually lands more strikes per minute than Ricky Simón does. So it seems like Vinicius Oliveira might have a little bit of an advantage on the feet. However, I'm going to go Ricky Simón by decision. Next up the cards, we got Ray Tsuruya. I don't know how to pronounce his second name. We got Ray fighting Carlos Hernandez. Now, guys, this is going to be a bit of a controversial opinion, right? And it's not really grounded in any sort of metrics or statistics just yet. But I'm not really sold on the Japanese fighters just yet. Some of the Chinese fighters as well. Obviously, we've got Weili Zhang. She's a great fighter from China. But the East Asian fighters, yeah, I'm just not super convinced by just yet. I'm also not familiar with this Ray Tsuruya, although he's got 63% striking accuracy, 55% takedown defense. Carlos Hernandez has got a 46% striking accuracy and 15% takedown accuracy. Although the stats actually point in Ray having the advantage in this fight, and I think he's actually the favorite to win, isn't he? I'm not too sure. Maybe he is the favorite. It doesn't say the odds here. So it's a toss-up, really. Some of the stats show that Ray has got a higher probability of winning. He's also undefeated. Ray's also got 4 first-round finishes. Although I'm not convinced by the Japanese fighters just yet, I might actually go with Ray winning this fight just from the stats, guys. These are complete guesses, by the way. As we go up the card, we'll get more educated with the picks. Next, we got Andrei Arlovski. Is he still fighting? Damn, he must be about 55. Versus Martin Buday. Now, the thing is with Arlovski, he's good, but he's just getting a bit old. He's lost 3 in a row, but then prior to that, he won 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. And then prior to that, he lost to Tom Aspinall. Nothing to be embarrassed about there. So there's a lot of inconsistency with Arlovski, but at the end of the day, he's not going to become a champion ever again. He's just fighting out his contract, fighting for the money now. He's got 34 wins and 23 losses. 23 losses, that's a lot. And we got Martin Buday, who's 13-2. Now, I watched Martin Buday's last fight. He actually lost this fight versus Shamil Gaziev. And there was a few moments in this fight where Martin Buday looked like he didn't like getting hit. And Arlovski used to be a good striker. So I believe that Arlovski could win this by decision, but I'm not sure. Coming off a 3-fight losing streak, I think we might just see Arlovski lose again, you know. So I'll take that Martin Buday by either a decision or second round stoppage. Next, we got Michelle Waterson versus Gillian Robertson. So Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. It doesn't rhyme in my accent. You've got to say the karate hottie. You've got to say it American in order for it to rhyme. And I would know all about rhymes because that is what I do. And it makes some of you guys really, really angry. But Michelle Waterson-Gomez, right, I'm not even going to look through their stats. I'm just going to say Michelle Waterson by a decision. She's going to out kickbox Gillian Robertson. Gillian Robertson's only really got one way to get it done, and that's by submission. As you can see, 9 wins by submission out of 13 wins. She's had 2 wins by knockouts. Do knockouts even happen in the female divisions these days? It's a rare sight to see. Michelle Waterson has also got 9 wins by submission, so that's pretty good. But one thing that I always remember with Michelle is she has got really great takedown defense. As you can hear, 70% takedown defense. Now, Gillian Roberts has got a 43% takedown accuracy. So I don't see Gillian Roberts doing anything notable on the feet. I think the only way she's going to get this done is if she takes Michelle Waterson down. But I don't think that's going to happen because I think the karate hottie is going to be able to stuff those takedowns and just pick Gillian Robertson apart on the feet. So we're going to take Michelle Waterson-Gomez for the decision victory. Moving out to the early prelims, we've got Payton Talbott versus Yanis Ghemmouri. Guys, I can't even be arsed going into their stats. I've went into the stats in the end just to put a bit of effort in. He's 8-0, 6 wins by knockout. This guy's 12-2. He's got 4 wins by submission, 3 wins by knockout. Let's go with this lad. Payton Talbott. He looks like a little bit of a hot prospect right now. No, did he? We'll take Payton Talbott by first round knockout. Charles Jourdain versus Gene Silva. Now, I'm not aware of Gene Silva, but I've seen Charles Jourdain before. Now, he's coming off a loss against Shaun Woodson, but Shaun Woodson is a really good fighter. If you haven't seen him, so he fights a featherweight. He's about 6'2" or 6'3". Absolutely massive. He's got a big alien head and just this proper stringy, skinny body, but he can punch you from miles away. He's a good fighter. Absolutely crisp boxing. I don't really think that's a loss to be embarrassed about. Prior to that, he was on a 2-fight win streak. Before that, he fought Nathaniel Wood. He's fought a list of killers. Shane Burgos, Lando Venata. Jourdain has fought some decent fighters. Oh shit, Kron Gracie. And we got Gene Silva. So I haven't seen any of his fights. Let's scroll. Okay, he's only fought one person. That'll be why anyway. So without looking at the stats, I'm going to go with Jourdain to win this. He's got 15 wins, 5 first round finishes, 5 wins by submission, 8 wins by knockout. That's really good. He's fought some really stiff competition. So let's go Charles Jourdain by, let's go second round finish. Moving up the card, we've got Cub Swanson versus Andrei Fili. Okay, this should be a good fight. Cub Swanson, getting a bit old now, isn't he? Like late 30s. He might even be in his 40s. At one point, he was looking like he would be a contender for the championship, for the featherweight division, but not anymore now. I think we're seeing him on the back end of his career. Well, I don't think. I know that. There was one point when he was looking very swaggery when he was fighting. His strikes were always very diverse, but we haven't really seen that in his latest fights. Now, also, as we said with Jourdain, Cub Swanson has fought pretty much everybody. When you look at this lineup of people who he's fought, Frankie Edgar, Renato Moicano, Shane Burgos, Brian Ortega, Artem Lobov, the GOAT, Duho Choi, what a fight that was, Max Holloway. Now, typically, when he fights these top contenders, he loses. Andrei Fili, I actually like Fili to win this fight. Now, he lost his last one against Danny Ige, okay, although he is a little bit inconsistent. Loss, win, it's like loss, he loses one, wins one, loses one, wins one. So he lost his last fight. So based on his history of winning one, then losing one, he is due a win next. I just get a hunch that Andrei Fili is going to win this fight. I think he's going to outstrike Cub Swanson. And let's go with a second round finish for Andrei Fili. That could actually be a really good fight. Next, we got Joe Pyfer, or is it Joe Pyfer? The man with the hardest punch in the world against Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, this Marc-Andre guy is a tough geezer. Let's load them up right now. Built like an absolute tank. He's one of these fighters, when you see him side on, he's got a proper Ninja Turtle shell for the back. Now, I think he lost his last fight against Chris Curtis. Yeah, good fight that. He's fought some okay fighters recently. Hernandez, Julian Marquez, Anthony Hernandez, Jordan Wright, who I think was a little bit of a hype train. Yeah, so he's fighting middle-of-the-road fighters, and he's a middle-of-the-road fighter himself. Will he be able to crack into the top 10? I'm not too sure, but he's known as the power bar for a reason, because he just keeps going. He's got a really good gas tank. Now, Joe Pyfer has got an absolute cracking punch on him. He lost his last fight. Who was it against? Oh, yeah, Jack Hermansson. Now, Jack Hermansson is good. That was a big test, to be fair, for Joe Pyfer, but I like Joe Pfeiffer's chance in this fight of getting a knockout over Barriault. I think he lost his last fight. I think he's going to come in there with something to prove. He's on a big card, UFC 303, a lot of lights on him. He's the main event of the prelim card, so I think he's going to come out here with a point to prove, and I think he's going to try and go for the finish in round 1 or 2. Let's go first round finish. I'm feeling ambitious today. Next, we're moving on to the main card. Right, this is what we all came for, what we're all invested in. Also, I'll just take this moment to say, the fighters who I am unaware of, I will become aware of when I'm watching the prelims, and then they'll be on my radar. I just haven't had time to watch a lot of UFC content recently. I'm getting my app set up, I'm doing all sorts with my gym. I've got businesses to run and stuff, and a family to look after. Right, this is where it gets a bit exciting. Or does it? We got Garry versus Michael Venom Page. I've seen a few people pick Garry to win this fight, but I don't think it's going to be the case. I think we're going to see Michael Venom Page come out here and put on a... He's either going to put on a clinic and starch Garry, or this will actually be a relatively boring fight. And when I say boring, I don't mean like boring, but it'll be like a super highly technical fight where people aren't just going to be able to resonate with it. There's going to be a lot going on subliminally between these two fighters, a lot of feinting going on, trying to manage that distance. And they're both really good at the distance management, but I don't think the crowds are going to like it. I think we're going to see a lot of boos in this fight, and it's either going to be Michael Page by a decision, relatively technical fight, but no real moments to happen within the fight. Or we're going to see Michael Page get, I'm going to go second round finish. And as I say, these are two masters of controlling the distance. Garry, not so much as Michael Venom Page. Michael Venom Page, he's got that, it's like the point karate style of fighting. That's what I used to do back in the day when I done my early inter-club competitions. It was all the point style of fighting. And those fighters who do that style of fighting and those style of competitions are incredibly good keeping that distance and not letting you get to them. And they're always keeping you on the end of the kicks. Who else fights like that? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And that's why when I heard about this fight potentially being Michael Venom Page versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I didn't like that as a fight, because I think it'll be a stalemate. So I think this is a little bit of a better matchup. Garry, I don't know. I think Garry's going to be fairly hesitant in this fight. Everyone's hesitant against Michael Venom Page. So I think we're going to see Michael Venom Page come out there. He's going to be showboating. He's going to be doing all his dancing, his moves. He's going to be throwing some really good side kicks to the body, side kicks to the leg, oblique kicks. I think we're going to see some wild stuff out of Michael Page, maybe some spinning kicks, some wild hook kicks, or maybe even a 540 kick. That'd be really good. But I think we'll see MVP get the finish on Garry in the second round with a simple 1-2, which will be set up by those kicks. Or, as I say, boring decision. But regardless of the specifics, I think we're going to see Michael Venom Page get this win. Next, we got Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. Who's bothered? Let's go with Bueno Silva for the victory. Then we got... This is so unprofessional. Do you know what? Truth be told, guys, right? I've just had to do a fresh installation of Windows on my computer, and I've got nothing available to me, and it's literally almost 7 p.m. and I'm only just doing my video now. I usually do my video about 4 p.m. and I've got to get this edited and up by tonight, so I haven't got time to be messing around with these friggin' fighters who are going to come out here with a boring decision victory. Next, we've got Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. Now, Anthony Smith, he's kind of good everywhere. He's got a lot of experience. Look at the amount of fights he's amassed. Can you see that on my screen? Yeah, he's got 38 wins, 19 losses. Now, I'll be honest, those losses are creeping up there a little bit. Anthony's one of these, when you hear him talk on the Bisbing podcast, on paper, he beats everyone. That's a little meme that's going around the MMA spaces at the moment. Anthony Smith, great on paper. He beats Shaun Jones on paper, but when he gets in there, you know, sometimes does good, sometimes does bad. And although Anthony Smith is called the Lionheart, I don't know, we just don't really see him improve that much. Are we going to see a better Anthony Smith than his last few fights in there this weekend? I'm not sure, because only a few fights ago, he lost against Johnny Walker. And Johnny Walker, Flipping heck. Everyone's beating Johnny Walker right now. Johnny Walker is a walking CTE brain damage machine right now, taking all sorts of damage to the head. Now, he's had some tough fights, to be fair. He fought against Ankalaev. He fought against Khalil Roundtree. They are tough fights. Now, he won his last fight, I'll be honest. Didn't watch it, so I don't know how he was looking in that fight. Now, we got Roman Dolidze, and I'll be honest, guys, the stats aren't too great. Striking accuracy, 39%. Takedown accuracy, 41%. Oh, yeah, his record is 12-3, so he's got nowhere near the amount of experience that Anthony Smith's got. He's got 7 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, 7 first-round finishes. If we take a look at Anthony Smith, he's got 19 wins by knockout, 15 wins by submission, 21 first-round finishes. Now, that's to be expected when you've had over 50 fights. I just think experience is going to be the factor in Anthony Smith winning this fight. I think what we might see is a decision victory by Anthony Smith in this fight. I think we're going to see Roman Dolidze with some cardio problems. I don't really see him getting on the inside of Anthony Smith's reach. I don't see him being able to get a takedown on Anthony Smith. I think Anthony Smith is going to be able to stuff the takedowns of Roman and keep the fight on the feet and just pick Roman apart and get a decision win victory. We're going to go Anthony Smith, mainly just due to the vast amount of experience that he's got. Moving up the card, now we get into the banger fights. Do you know what, guys? This card, there's some decent names on here, like, you know, MVP and Ian Garry, but the matchups themselves, I don't know. I think we could be in for a couple stinkers. But this one definitely will not be a stinker, right? Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes fought on UFC 300. What was it? Yeah, that Yusuf guy. Damn, Diego is an absolute animal. The way he fights... He fights with such tenacity. He's on a 3-fight win streak, and he's jacked, shredded, and he's just got that viciousness and violence. In fact, look at his takedown accuracy, 0%, because he's never got any takedowns, and he's only ever attempted 1. He's got a 59% striking accuracy, which is fairly good. For every 10 shots he's throwing, he's landing 6. And look at this, the guy is a finisher. His average fight time is 5 minutes 58. I seen a stat the other day saying that, like, his last few fights have all finished under 90 seconds or something like that. The guy finishes people fast. He's going out there. I mean, look at him. Look how jacked he is. I know that doesn't have any relation to how you finish fights and how good you are, but the guy is a machine. Trust me on that. Now, Brian Ortega is an animal. He's a dog. He's a Mexican. He's got that Mexican grit in him. However, I don't know. He takes a lot of punches, as seen here by this stat. 6.54 significant strikes absorbed per minute. Now, he's got a chin. We'll give that to Brian Ortega, but I think the way that Brian Ortega is going to win this fight, the only way he's got to win this fight is through the takedowns and the submissions. Now, Brian Ortega is a submission specialist. He's got a lot better on the feet recently, but he doesn't really get great takedowns. Like, look at his takedown accuracy. It's 27%. And Diego Lopes has got a 43% takedown defense. So Brian Ortega, not that great at taking people down. Diego Lopes is fairly okay with the takedown defense. Diego Lopes wants to stand and bang. He's going to do that. And the only way that Brian Ortega is going to be able to get Diego Lopes down is if Diego Lopes overextends and Brian's able to duck under those punches, get a clinch and bring him, or a body lock, and then drag him down to the ground. I don't really see that happening. I'm actually going to go for a Diego Lopes first or second round knockout over Brian Ortega. That is a very lofty prediction. Brian Ortega could win this by experience. Then, as with it, no, Brian Ortega hasn't got as much experience as Diego Lopes. Pardon me and my uneducated self. Diego Lopes has got 24 wins, 6 losses. Brian Ortega's got 16 wins, 3 losses. Wow, okay. Diego Lopes is actually super experienced. Brian Ortega's got more experience in the UFC against higher caliber fighters. You know, he could win this fight, but I'm going to go with Diego Lopes. I like the momentum that he's got at the moment. A part of me thinks that I should go with the safe bet, that is Brian Ortega, because he's a bit more battle tested, but I'm on the hype train. I love Diego Lopes. I think he could be a superstar potentially just by the way he goes out there and fights. So let's go Diego Lopes by, I think I said first or second round KO. I'll actually go for second or third round stoppage over Brian Ortega. It's hard to get Ortega out of there, but I like this new challenge for Ortega because he's a hot prospect. And yeah, as I say, he just fights with a lot of grit and tenacity. The dude is a warrior. Let's go Diego Lopes. Next, what everyone has came for, truly, Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka. Now, I done my video yesterday talking about how Jiri Prochazka could get the win. could get the win, not how Jiri Prochazka is going to win. And it seems like some people misunderstand those videos. Now, I do name the title how Jiri Prochazka can KO Alex Pereira, or how he will KO Alex Pereira, but then I explicitly state in the video, guys, this is not a predictions video. This is me just stating the case for how Jiri Prochazka can get it done. It was meant to do one with Alex Pereira, but instead we just analysed the sparring footage. And people seem to think, oh, Shaun, Alex Pereira's going to win. Listen, actually listen to the video. Don't just go off what the title says and then comment. If you're going to do that, then you might be wrong. You got to understand this is the YouTube game, but this is the fact of the matter is, if it was a boring title, people wouldn't click. And you can use other examples like, oh, well, this YouTuber doesn't do that. Yeah, the YouTuber who's uploaded 4,000 videos in the last 5 years, yeah, they can get away with doing that. But when you're a relatively new channel like mine, you know, you gotta play the game a bit. Anyway, going off track here, but that wasn't me predictions video. This is me predictions video. So we're gonna talk about Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka a little bit more specifically. This is the thing with Alex Pereira. He loses until he knocks it out. So he's never really ahead on the scorecards. We're always just waiting for that one big, massive bomb. And Jiri Prochazka was having a lot of success in that second round. Obviously, until he got KO'd. Yeah, of course. But I think Jiri Prochazka might actually be able to make some adjustments in this fight. And I can see it potentially going longer than 2 rounds. Maybe to 3 rounds. I don't see this fight going the entire distance. I don't think he's going to rush in as much. When you watch that knockout over Jiri Prochazka, he was rushing in and his hands were right down by his side. Now, we know that's how Jiri Prochazka fights, but I think he just got a little bit overzealous, and he's going to be able to correct that mistake. I also think he's riding high off that last win against Alexander Rakic. Now, so is Alex Pereira off the win over Jamal Hall. The thing is, right, Jiri Prochazka is incredibly unpredictable. We don't know what he's going to throw. Whereas with Alex Pereira, we can pretty much bank on that he's going to throw some leg kicks and then set up the left hook. That we can all agree on that. Jiri Prochazka, we watched yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it up here. I'll put it up here or down in the description down below. And you can just see how funky the guy's style is, but it works for him. Now, one thing that Jiri Prochazka does extremely well, which he done in the first fight against Alex Pereira and then the fight against Alexander Rakic, the moment Jiri starts eating those leg kicks and it starts making him stumble, he just starts running towards you. This is the thing. If Alex Pereira is going to implement the leg kicking game plan, Pereira's going to have to be ready for Jiri Prochazka to put the foot on the pedal and to just come charging at you. As we said, the way he bounces at you like that, Alex Pereira's got to be ready for that. And as I say, in that second round of the first fight, we seen that Jiri was landing on Pereira, and there was a moment or two where Pereira looked a little bit wobbled and a bit dishevelled. And I actually see this fight going a similar way. I think Pereira is going to get wobbled, or not wobbled, but caught maybe in that first and second round, similar to the first fight. But then I think Pereira is going to be able to find the finish in the third round. That's what I'm going to go with. Third round finish by Pereira. Now, guys, I've actually been back and forth on my decision for this fight because a part of me gut tells me that Jiri could get this done and he could make the adjustments. And I think a part of that is because of the success that he had in the first fight. And I know a lot of people will argue this and say he wasn't being successful. Go back and watch the fight. He did have some really good moments of success. And I just think that wild nature of Jiri, it's hard to prepare for. And I think Jiri, since his last fight against Rakic, has probably been in the cave, in the back cave, just grinding away, training his ass off. Alex Pereira's being here, there and everywhere. He's doing a lot of media appearances, a lot of collaborations. His social media is absolutely popping. And, you know, his YouTube is flying. It brings into question, is Alex Pereira putting in the same amount of work that Jiri is? And will Alex Pereira be able to offset the adjustments that Jiri Prochazka is going to make? Now, here's my answer. I think in this fight, we're going to see Alex Pereira a lot more defensively responsible. I like how Alex Pereira's been looking in his sparring recently. He's been looking a lot more elusive. His head movement is actually fantastic. He's blocking a lot of shots. He's also been looking a lot more aggressive in his sparring. And I know it's sparring, it's completely different from the fight, but I think Alex Pereira's going to go into this fight a lot more skilled than he was in the Jamal Hill fight. Well, we didn't even get a chance to see those skills in the Jamal Hill fight because it was just one shot, lights out for Jamal Hill. So I think in this fight, Alex Pereira is going to get a little bit longer to showcase his improvements. Also, I forgot to mention, Jiri Prochazka has got the takedowns. I didn't realise his takedown accuracy is 60%. Alex Pereira's takedown accuracy is 100%. But also, Alex Pereira's takedown defense is 70%. I think Jiri Prochazka is going to be able to take down Alex Pereira. The question is, can Alex Pereira get up? Because in that first fight, Alex Pereira was on the ground for a good 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes, and Jiri Prochazka was dominating on top. So the question, is Jiri Prochazka going to go for the takedowns in this fight and take the smart approach? Because that is the smart approach against Alex Pereira. I think a lot of people just look at Alex Pereira. A lot of fighters will look at him and be like, no, I want to go toe-to-toe with him and I want to beat him at his own game. And I'm sure that Jiri Prochazka explicitly stated that in the first fight, that he wanted to beat Alex Pereira at his own game. If Jiri goes in with that same mindset, that he wants to try and stand and bang with Pereira, I mean, there's just so much more of a chance of him getting knocked out. But if he goes in, mixes those takedowns in, I think he might actually be able to stop Alex Pereira. So I believe there's going to be a stoppage in the third round by either fighter. But I'm siding with Alex Pereira. Probably about 65-70% Pereira, 35-40% Prochazka. What do you guys think of this fight card? Leave all your predictions down below. I know I wasn't as prepared with this one, but I just had a super busy day, so I just needed to blast this video out and just get it onto my channel. Man's got ish to do. So yeah, remember, we are going live this Saturday, and I'm going to stream from the early prelims right the way through. It's going to be a long ass stream, so I would appreciate as many people as possible showing up for that stream, and let's just have a good night, get some snacks going, and enjoy some good fight content. Make sure you like this video. We upload every single day, all different types of fight content. Go and check out my channel. If you like the look of it, then subscribe. Catch us tomorrow.